Good evening, my brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. Success is my name. I believe you had a great day wherever you are. I just want to share with you briefly a simple message. On the 21st of May 2020, it was midnight, half past 12. I was in my bedroom. I could sense the heavy presence, and I just said a simple word, and I said, Lord, I know you are here, and I know you are alive. I have seen and experienced your grace and your love. This is what the Lord said to me. He said, I am here to teach you something so that you can teach to your fellow brothers and sisters out there. Here's what he asked me. He said to me, where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? My answer was, I don't know. And here's what he said to me. He said, there are 3 dimensions. The first dimension is heaven. Heaven is called immortality. That means forever, eternity, endless. And in that realm of immortality, it means everything is life. It's life, it's eternity. And the second dimension, it's called earth. Earth, it also called the place of the living. That means everything on earth is life. But the earth is controlled by 3 things, which is matter, time, and space. So that means in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, the Bible says, the God of this world. Did you see that? Did you see that word? That word, world, in Greek it means the God of cosmos. What does the cosmos mean? The cosmos means a limited space of time. Some other translation, they says the God of this age. That means anything that can be aged. It means, brothers and sisters, it can be outdated. So that means everything here on earth is temporary. And also the earth, it has been made not to contain anything that is dead. And a matter of fact, that is why when something is dead, we bury it 6 feet under. Did you see that? So the earth also cannot contain something that is dead. So that is why we bury our loved ones 6 feet under. And also, if something is dead, it can be a dog, it can be anything. That thing is decomposed, and when it decomposes, it smells. And when it smells, it affects our lungs, it affects our bodies, affects our health, because the earth is not made to contain anything that is dead. Did you see that? So there is a third dimension. The third dimension, it's called Sheol. It's Sheol. What does that mean? The word Sheol, it means the place of the dead, or where the spirit of the dead goes. Did you see that? Let's go to the book of Matthew. The question is, where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights. What I'm going to teach you, brothers and sisters, it's life from 12:30 until 6 o'clock early morning. This is what I've been told. When you read the book of Matthew chapter 27, verse 50, it says, and Jesus cried, he cried again with a louder voice, and give up his spirit. That means he died. In verse 51, it says, and at once the curtain of the sanctuary of the temple was torn into from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were spilled. In verse 52 says, the tombs were open, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep in death were raised to life. So in my next session, I'm going to show you who are those people that were raised from death to life. Did you see that? So now it says, Jesus, he cried out with a louder voice. And when he cried out with a louder voice, he gave up his ghost. That means he died. So where was he? Let's go, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the book of... Thank you, Lord Jesus. Where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? Where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? You know, I remember when I was growing up in Sunday school and also in school, in my primary level, they used to give us a small booklet and also a small Bible. And those Bible, they were having a picture. And that picture, there was a picture of a big, a great shark. And there was a man in the name of Jonah, which the fish spit him out. So in my mind, and what they have teach us in Sunday school, in school, and also in churches, that picture of John, that John was swallowed by a fish. Did you see that? So every time when I see the fish, I thought about John was swallowed by a fish, that John, he disobeyed God. And because he disobeyed God, you remember the story of was going to Nineveh. And then, so in my mind, and what we have been taught in school, in churches, was John was swallowed by a fish. But that thing was not making sense in my life. How can John swallowed by a fish? Did you see that? So they have penned that picture in us that John was swallowed by fish because he disobeyed God. Did you see that? I believe that even many of us, we still have that picture that John was swallowed by fish. But here what I'm going to share with you. I just want also to thank my beloved brother, who's late by now. I remember there were many things which were making sense in my life and through John's story, and many things which was in the Bible. I remember I spoke to him. In a matter of fact, I made an appointment with him to see him, and then I remember I told him that, brother, I sense in my spirit, in the middle of it, I have conviction that I have to go to the Bible college. I thought my brother will be hard, but it was so simple. Everything was simple. He agreed, and in that week I was in the Bible school. So, but still when I was in the Bible school, I was still hungry for more. Did you see that? I was still hungry for more things. Did you see that? So John was not in the belly of fish. Let me read it to you. Then John prayed to the Lord, John chapter 2, verse 1. Hear me very carefully. Don't forget, where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? Let's read the story of John. Then John prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of fish. Did you hear that? And said, I cried out of my distress to the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried. Did you see that word? That word Sheol, it means the place of the dead. It means the place where the dead spirit went or goes. So John was not in the belly of fish. As I'm busy reading with you, you will see that John, he died. And when John died, he went into the deep. That means he went to the place called Sheol, where the spirit of the dead is. Let's read it. And he said, you heard my voice. In verse 3 says, for you cast me into the deep. Did you see that? You cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas. Did you see that? So John was not in the belly of fish. John was in the place called Sheol, the place of the dead. Did you see that? He was in that place, into the deep, in the heart of the sea. Let's read it. And he said, the floods surrounded me. All your waves, all your billow passed over me. In verse 4 says, then I said, I have cast out of your presence and your sight. Yet I will look again toward your holy temple. In verse 5 says, the waters compassed me about, even to the extinction of life. The abyss surrounded me. That word abyss means to the deep. Did you see that? The seaweed. Did you see that? The seaweed. The fish does not have a seaweed. That means the man called John, he went to the place called Sheol. He died. Did you see that? He died. So John was not in the belly of fish. In verse 6 says, I went down to the bottom and the very roots of the mountain. Did you see that? The earth with its birds, close behind me forever. Yet have you brought me up, my life from the pit and corruption. So did you see where was John? John was not in the belly of fish. John was in the place called Sheol, the place of the dead. In verse 7 says, when my soul fainted upon me, crushing me, I earnestly and seriously remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you into your holy temple. In verse 8 says, those who pay regard to false, useless, and worthless idol. Let's go to verse 9. In verse 9 says, but as for me, I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that which I have vowed, salvation and deliverance. So did you see? So John was not in the belly of fish. John died. And when John died, he went into the place called Sheol. And that Sheol, it means the place of the dead. Did you see that, brothers and sisters? Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 40. He said, you remember, I said, where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? In Matthew chapter 12, verse 40, it says, this is what Jesus said. He says, for even as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the sea. Did you see that? Not in the fish. John was not in the belly of fish, brothers and sisters. Jonah died. And he went to the place called Sheol. That means the place of the dead. Did you see that? For even as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the sea, monster, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Did you see that? So as Jonah was in the belly of the master of the sun, of the sea, so shall be the Son of Man. So that means Jesus also, he went to that place called Sheol, the place of the dead. So that is why I told you that the earth cannot contain anything that is dead, because it have not made to contain dead things. So that is why we call the earth the place of the living. But this is the place where the dead body, where the dead spirit went. So in my next session, I am going to show you who are those saints who rose from the dead. And what happened when Jesus was in that place called Sheol? What happened? He went into that place. The last one, as I'm concluding, don't miss tomorrow. The last one is in Amos. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Amos chapter 9, verse 2. Hear this. Amos says, though they dig into Sheol, Hades, the dark abode of the gathered dead, from there shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, the abode of light, from there will I bring them down. Did you see that? Though they dig into Sheol, that means though they dig into Sheol, Hades, the gathered of the dead. Did you see that? So that means there is a place of the dead. And there was a very main reason why Jesus went into that place called Sheol. So tomorrow I'm going to show you and explain to you what happened when Jesus was in Sheol. And who are those people who raised from the dead in the book of Matthew chapter 27. It says the dead body came out. Those who were asleep, the saints. Who are those saints? So where was Jesus in 3 days and 3 nights? This is where he was. In a place called Sheol, the place of the dead. Don't miss tomorrow, same time and same place. May God bless you wherever you are. In Jesus' name, amen.